Welcome back. School will be starting here in less than a week, and kids are returning to class, but teachers will too, and there are a lot of new teachers who are beginning their careers. Here to talk about the challenges that new teachers could face in our In Focus report is Bianca Mittendorf. You are a third-year teacher in the Davis School District, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
I think we all have at least like a family member who is a teacher, and we know just how much work goes into it. The money you spend on the side to help your kids out. But let's just talk about being a first-year teacher. What do people out there not know about some of the challenges involved?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions that people may not realize is just the time that is involved in order to make sure the class is running smoothly, to make sure the students are kind of having their needs met and you're able to speak to parents and things like that. There's just so much time that is needed. Like, you're often at a time deficit in order to do the job well, it feels like. So. And
that's probably the case for a lot of fields. But I think with teaching, it's like, what do you think teaching is going to be? And then what is it like once you're actually in that classroom or maybe preparing or whatever, once you're actually in the trenches, so to speak, of really doing this day in and day out?
Right. I feel like, I know for me personally, I initially thought that getting into teaching, it was just going to be something that would be fairly easy. You're just standing up in front of a classroom talking to kids. How difficult could that be? But no, that is not the case at all, because every second that you are in that classroom, you're making very calculated moves and calculated decisions in order to ensure that students are kind of getting the rigorous education and that they need in meeting those core standards and everything. So every second of every tiny detail that you do is very important. So.
What do parents out there who haven't been in school in a while not know about your job?
I think just the amount of continuing education that teachers continue to do. I feel a lot of times people think like, oh, you've gotten your teaching degree, so maybe you haven't seen the inside of a classroom in, I don't know, 10 years, or you don't know the latest in new pedagogy or anything like that. But that is not the case at all. Teachers are continuously improving and attending professional development classes and things like that in order to really improve and kind of hone their craft. So
we know there's a teacher shortage. We know that it's a tough time. All these districts are trying to basically pay more to attract and retain talent. Would you tell your kids to go into education?
I have really thought about this, and yes, I would, because I feel that it is such a fulfilling job, and it's stressful, don't get me wrong, but the joy that I get and just being able to touch a child's life and know that they are going to be more successful, I've helped them in some way, I think it's totally worth it. So of course I'd tell my students, get into teaching.
You made an impact, you're making an impact, a ripple effect. Sometimes you never know, but it's sort of that faith that what you do makes a difference.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for